Hi everyone, Melissa here, artist in residence at Imagine, and I'm going to be making this cute shaker card today using a number of Imagine products as well as some beautiful Rinea paper. And I'm going to start by inking up my star stamp from Whimsy Stamps using Versamark ink. This is the best ink I've found for embossing, and so that is my plan, is to emboss. So I'm just putting that ink all over that stamp, and I have this in my stamping platform here, and I'm simply going to push down on this rubber stamp to get that star impression on the paper. Now I'm taking my Mboss Silver Embossing Powder, and I am going to coat the whole thing with that embossing powder right out of my bag. I like to put it into a coffee filter because then I can just funnel it right back into the little baggie that the emboss comes in. And I happen to love this silver embossing powder. It goes on to the card background, and it looks almost like a gray, just a gray color. But when you actually pull out the heat tool and start to heat emboss that embossed powder, you're going to see how gorgeous the silver color is. It really is almost like a silver jewelry that you might wear. And I happen to think that the gold emboss and also the silver are just stunning, and they're going to be great for holiday cards. So if you don't have any emboss powder, I suggest that you pick some up. And I'll provide links to the products that I'm using in the description box below. So you can see, look how gorgeous that silver is, and it has this beautiful shine and sparkle. I'm going to cut down that panel that you see there so that there's no white edges, because in my shaker card that will be the bottom panel. Now I'm going to take a piece of blue Rinea foil paper, again I'll put the link below, and I'm adding 2 frames, die frames to that paper. I've also added a sheet of white cardstock to the back of the Rinea paper, and I did that because I want this frame to be nice and sturdy. So I've cut that out, and now because this is a shaker card, I need to add acetate to that panel. So I'm using my Territ tape, and I'm going to outline the inside frame really well with that Territ tape. Territ tape is fabulous for attaching acetate to any kind of cardstock. It's great for really anything that you want to adhere, but I find that with acetate, you need a tape that's really going to be sturdy. So you can see I've framed the whole thing with the Territ tape, and now I'm taking the acetate and adhering it. But the Territ tape really does a good job with that acetate. You can see I made a little mistake there, but I was able to pull that off, and then I simply push that acetate right down onto that Territ tape. And I basically have my window frame now for my shaker card. So I'm going to set that to the side and pull out my foam tape. And actually now I'm going to put a layer of foam tape all the way around that frame. And what you see me doing here is putting on the first layer. I actually then remove the backing on this foam tape and put another layer. Whenever you're making a shaker card, it's important to not have any gaps between the foam tape that you see there, because gaps will allow your sequins and your beads to fall out. So I've doubled that foam tape up, although I don't show you on camera. Now I've added more Territ tape to this star panel, and I'm adhering that to a card base, an A2 size card base. I'm grabbing some blue and white and silver sequins and emptying that into the center of the card and making sure that it's mostly flat. I also decided I want to pop a color, so these are just a little container of coral color beads, and I'm going to add those to the center of that too. Keeping in mind that my frame is going to go around, so I need to keep all of that stuff contained into the center. So now I'm peeling the back off of my foam tape that's on my frame, and I'm going to center that right over those silver embossed stars that are in the background. And this forms the base of my shaker card. The foam tape works really well, and all of those sequins can shake easily now that I've doubled up that foam tape. So just 2 layers. You could even add a 3rd layer, but I like to make it so that it can still go into the mail. So now I want to stamp on top of that foil paper, and as you know, foil paper is non-porous, so I need an ink that's going to be able to stamp on there and not smear. So of course I'm going to turn to my StazOn Piano Black ink. I love this for stamping on anything that's a slick surface like this foil paper. It works fabulous. And the sentiment is from a Hello Bluebird stamp set called Maverick. And I'm just going to ink that up with that Stays On pigment solvent ink in piano black, and I'm going to stamp that right onto the frame. And I actually want to do this twice to get a really good impression. So I just gently press down, but the reason I put it into my stamping platform is so I can do it twice. The shine on the paper takes away from the sentiment just a little bit, but 2 coats of that piano black Stays On ink works fabulous. So you'll see I'm adding the second coat, and this is the benefit to having a stamping platform like the Misty. And I'm just going to simply push down just a little bit. I don't want to squish it out too much. And then you can see I get this beautiful Stays On ink that will not smear, and it actually dries quite fast. So now I've colored up this cute little image. This also is from the Hello Bluebird Maverick stamp set, and I'm using the wonderful On Point glue from Imagine, and I like to use that because, again, this is going to stick to the acetate with no problems, and I can get it into all those little nooks and crannies of that stamp because this glue has quite the fine tip on it. And I'm going to add an acrylic block to the top of that just so I can get that to adhere. And then when that is finished, I am going to take a sheer shimmer sticks in Sparkle and add that to my airplane. One thing you should know about the sheer shimmer sticks is you should shake it before you use it. That will really get that glitter all in distributed throughout that tube. And then last, I'm going to take some Pico Embellisher in sheer shimmer and add that to his little goggles. I'll add it to the propeller of the airplane and also the stars. Remember that you can find links in the description box below, and I hope to see you again here at Imagine. Make sure to hit that subscribe button.